I don't have a question, and I understand where Mr. Knox is coming from, but this wasn't a minor thing, this Craigslist deal. I mean, it made the newspaper, right? And it was a group of men with a bunch of little boys and teenagers. So, um, I'm not gonna go into the details either. But then again, like I said, it wasn't just a one-on-one thing. It was a group of children and a group of men.
You heard right. That's our new survivor advocate, Miss Stapleton, for this October 2024 hearing. Before we watch the hearing, we're going to take a blast to the past to his original 2021 hearing. So let's just jump in and we'll go from there.
Charles Edward Milton Jr. My DLC number is 71877. I'm sorry, bear with me. 7187701. Excuse me, I'm very nervous.
Thank you. Let me explain the process to you. First, I will read information into the record, then the board will conduct a parole interview with you. At the end, you'll be allowed to make a brief statement before the board votes. Do you understand the process, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This is the case for Charles Edward Milton Jr., DOC 718701, classified as a first felony offender, offense molestation of a juvenile. Sentencing date, January 23rd, 2017. Sentenced to 20 years hard labor. Parole date is May 24th, 2022. Good time, not eligible. Full term, September 27, 2035. Is this information correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Renazza.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Milton. Mr. Milton, my name's Cheryl Renazza. Your case has been assigned to me, so I'll be asking you some questions to lead off the interview.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? And I understand you're nervous. Just calm down. So as she mentioned, you're currently serving a 20-year sentence for one count of molestation of a juvenile. And how old are you, sir?
57.
And how long have you been incarcerated?
Since 2015. 6 years.
6 years.
Yes, ma'am.
And you entered a plea agreement. Is that correct? Okay. Because as I review the record, and we get a lot of information that we do our due diligence, I do think it's important to note that your initial charges were 3 counts of molestation of a juvenile and 2 counts of aggravated rape. There's at least 2 victims involved. I believe the ages at the time were 15 and 11.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And this activity occurred from you met somebody on Craigslist, and then you engaged in various sex acts with at least 2 minors. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So tell us, and you've been, as you said, incarcerated for 5 years, and you've been at Wade. See, you've been there most of the time.
Yes,
so what have you been able to, what programs have you been able to take advantage of?
Okay. I went back to school and I got my GED. I took a course called Core Base. That includes a lot of, sexual abuse, alcoholism, drug abuse. It covers a lot. I also took all 4 of the sex offender classes here, the phase classes. And I'm currently in victim awareness and living in balance is a drug and alcohol program.
Good. So you mentioned the sex offender. What I reviewed it looked to me as though you'd only done phase 1. So you're saying you've done them all?
Yes, ma'am. I have the certificate for all 4.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
Okay, good.
he was in phase 1. Mr. Knox was provided that information, but he since progressed to phase 4. He completed up through phase 4.
Good, thank you. So what was the most important thing you learned throughout that program?
Victim awareness, that people matter. It matters what people think.
And no, in the sex offender treatment class, that's what you learned.
Yes, ma'am. I learned victim awareness.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you learn anything about yourself?
Yes, ma'am. I've learned to trust in the Lord more than anything. He's changed me a lot. And going through those classes, I've become aware that what I did was very wrong, very wrong.
Mhm. Okay. And yeah, as you can imagine, there's opposition to favorable consideration for you, and that comes from law enforcement, the prosecutor's office, and the victims,
Yes, ma'am.
and the victims' families. You just need to be aware of that. I look at your record, and I'm concerned in that I do see some history of violence in your arrest history.
Yes, ma'am. There was some domestic there, some domestic charges.
So I see in Virginia, assault and battery, threatening bodily harm. That's in 2001, 2006 in Key West, battery. That's all of those are domestic.
Yes, ma'am.
And is that the same victim?
No, those are two.
I do want to comment on your disciplinary record. You've got a good conduct record there. I noted only one disciplinary infraction back in 2017.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's good. I'm trying to get to my page where I can see. So you do have a low risk score. What's your job? Do you have a job?
I worked in the kitchen for about 2 years. Like I said, I do have arthritis in my back, so I was limited to what I could do, and so they basically gave my job they dissolved my job is what happened in there. So I haven't done anything else due to COVID and everything.
Mm-hmm. So given the circumstances around your crime and your criminal history, tell us why you believe we should give you favorable consideration today.
Because I never want to hurt anybody again. I never want to hurt anybody again.
All right. Warden Goodwin, is there anything you want to add?
No, ma'am, he's told you pretty much everything. He's been here, he's got a good conduct record, he's a program participant, and he's a very model prisoner at this institution. I don't have anything else to add at this point.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Milton, what would be a transition plan for you should you be granted favorably? What you going to do? Where are you going to go?
I was going back to Virginia to be with my family. They're very supportive. I plan to do retail until I can do some business classes. I strongly want to do that. I want to do that very much.
How did you end up in Louisiana?
Well, this is where the crime took place. I was living in Mississippi at the time.
Well, how'd you end up in Mississippi?
My mother's there.
Your mother's there. Who's in Virginia?
My mother was there.
Was there. Now she's in Virginia. Okay.
Yeah, my stepdad passed away from COVID last year, and she moved back to my family.
Sorry for your loss. Mr. Chairman, I have no other questions. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning, sir. I just have one question. Miss Susan Knox, what was your relationship with her, to her?
Who?
Miss Susan Knox, the kid's guardian.
I never met her.
Oh, you never met her? Okay, all right. Thank you.
Yes,
And tell me again, you know, what you said you're gonna draw disability. What's your disability? Why are you disabled?
okay, when I had been drinking so much that I had developed physical ailments. I was living in Madison, Wisconsin at the time, and they put me on disability because I had borderline diabetic, I was borderline pancreatitis, all of this together. That was the nature of my disability.
So that's your plans to go back on disability when you get back out? No.
No, sir.
All right, would you like to make a statement on your behalf?
I have written something here, if you allow me to read it.
Go ahead, make a statement. Sure.
I would like to thank the board, first of all, for their time in hearing my case. I would like to express the victims of my crime and their families, and also to my family. I know that there's nothing I can do or say that will take any of the pain and suffering I have caused them and their families. I know there will be lasting scars. I have prayed for them that the Lord will heal the heartache that caused them. I beg them to forgive me. Since I've been incarcerated, I've turned my life over to God for His forgiveness, and I follow the Lord every day. I ask Him to teach me His love and make me more like His Son, Jesus Christ. Through daily scripture reading, the Lord has shown me my heart and soul. I am deeply remorseful for the pain I've caused. I understand how wrong I was. Since being incarcerated, I went back to school and got my GED. I have completed all 4 levels of sex offender phase classes. I completed 4 base class. Being above the side is expectation. That consists of alcohol and drug abuse, risk management, victim awareness, anger conflict management, father care, and life skills. I'm currently taking victim awareness and living in balance, which is alcohol and drug abuse class. And I know I can be a productive member of society if just given a chance. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you. Is the panel prepared to vote? Ms. Renata?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Milton, that was, I like what you had to say in your statement. I also have paid very close attention to the statements given to us by one of the direct victims and Ms. Knotts that Ms. Wise referred to. He is the guardian of one of the victims. Very, very, very strong opposition based on the age of the children and the harm that were caused to them by your actions. This is your first time coming up for parole, I believe. I also see very strong law enforcement opposition here in Louisiana to an early release. For those reasons today, my vote's going to be to deny your parole.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Ms. Wise?
Sir, I want to commend you on obtaining your high school diploma. I know they didn't give that away. I really want to commend you for that. Good job. But I concur with my colleague, and my vote is the same, and also insufficient time served on that 20-year sentence. Best wishes to you, sir.
All right, and I vote to deny your parole for the same reasons as stated. A victim opposition, give law enforcement opposition, not enough time served. So 3 votes to deny today. Your parole's been denied. Good luck to you. And Ward, it is 10:04. We will adjourn now. I apologize last time. 10:04. We will adjourn from David Wade. Thank y'all.
We're just going to jump to the present day 2024 to see his next hearing, to see maybe he learned something more to say better than I don't want to hurt anyone again is why you should let me out, or it matters what people think. These programs, they must be top notch. To finish 4 phases, it means that you're actually a facilitator. You're teaching the other inmates what to think. And I guess it's, what do we know? We're just sheeple, right? We're not PhDs. We're not in government. Don't worry. Don't worry at all. His full term date is 2035. So he's still backing 9 years. Thankfully, he's still got time. Let's see what the new board does in this situation. And I don't have, we don't have info on this case. So it's just, I don't have anything special to unpack here. Oh, right. He's a low risk score too. How can he's a low risk score. Anyways, let's go.
Good morning, Mr. Milton. Would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number.
I'm Charles E. Milton Jr. My DOC number is 718-701.
All right, Mr. Milton, my name is Cheryl Renatza. This is Mrs. Stapleton to my left, Mr. Byrod to my right. We are your parole panel this morning. You've been through this process before in 2021, so I'm just going to dive right in and we'll get started. Mr. Milton, you're classified as a first felony offender. You're currently serving a 20-year sentence, sentenced in January of 2017 for molestation of a juvenile. Your parole eligibility date was May 24 of 2022. Full term date is September 27, 2035. As I said, you were denied in October of 21 because of victim opposition and law enforcement opposition is what I noted. That was written in the record. So before we get started on our interview process, Mr. Milton, why don't you tell us why you think we should vote favorably for you today?
Well, I think I've come a long way since I've been here. I've taken the classes. I've realized what a godless life can get you, and I'm a prime example of that. I'm no longer godless. I'm very much with the Lord at this point, and I believe that gives me a solid lead on living a decent life, a good life outside these walls.
All right, Warden Dozat, what can you tell us about Mr. Milton?
Mr. Milton has only had one rule violation report. That was not long after he got here in 2017 for Rule 15, which was malingering at the time. He did get his GED here at David Wade in 2019. He is currently enrolled in reentry. I do want to note for the record that there was I think a misprint on when he began the sex offender treatment. That was actually in 2020. So he was able to complete all of the 4 phases. His residence plan is to go live with a sister in Virginia, but we do not have that approved through an interstate compact as of yet. And he does plan to work in the retail industry. So he continues to do well with no rule violation reports at this time at Wade.
Thank you. So, Mr. Milton, your case has been assigned to me. So, how long have you been in jail for this offense?
I was arrested in 2015. So since 2015, I've been in jail the whole time.
8 years? 9 years?
Yes, ma'am, 9 years.
So you've served 9 years of your 20 years.
Yes, ma'am.
How old are you?
I'm sorry.
How old
are you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm 60 years old.
And as I read the record, the abuse of the victims occurred in that summer in 2015.
Yes, ma'am.
So you would have been 52.
Yes, ma'am.
Your original charge was 2 counts of aggravated and 2 counts of no, you pled. You entered a plea agreement and pled guilty to counts of the molestation.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
I don't really want to go into the details of what happened to these children. I do know there were 2 victims, 10 and 14 years old, and this all happened in response to a Craigslist ad and so on and so forth. What I will say is I want to acknowledge, as Warden Dozat said, that you did complete the sex offender treatment, you've done anger management, you did victim awareness, and living in balance. Tell us what you got out of the victim awareness. Tell the panel how do you believe your actions affected those victims?
In a very negative way, my actions affected those victims. I can't tell you what I go through every day thinking about what I did and how wrong that was of me to even go there and even think it. I know that my actions have a definite reaction on everybody around me, whether it's good or bad. I just have to make sure that my actions are good for the sake of everybody around me.
What's your job there, Wade?
I push laundry carts, ma'am.
Are you enrolled in reentry? I think she said, or you?
Yes, ma'am. I'm in the classes I started about a month ago.
Mhm.
3 weeks ago.
Congratulations on your GED. And I do, when I look at your criminal history, I do see some prior arrests for misdemeanor battery. That was not price. There is opposition to your early
ma'am.
release, as I'm sure you were advised at your previous hearing, the district attorney, Washita Parish Sheriff's Office, Monroe Police Department, as well as West Monroe. I don't have any other particular questions of you. As you said, as I mentioned, I don't want to go into the details of what happened. I'll defer to my colleagues if they have any questions. No, any questions?
I don't have a question, and I understand where Ms. Renaud was coming from, but this wasn't a minor thing, this Craigslist deal. I mean, it made the newspaper, right? And it was a group of men with a bunch of little boys and teenagers. So, I'm not gonna go into the details either. But then again, like I said, it wasn't just a one-on-one thing. It was a group of children and a group of men. And so, I don't have any questions.
Mr. Milton, anything else you want to say to us? I think we're prepared to vote, but we'd like to know if there's anything you'd like to tell us first.
So that's it, I think.
Well, I'm glad, so I'll be voting first, and I'm glad to hear what you said. I'm no longer a godless man.
Yes, ma'am.
Some comfort, and that's going to help prepare you for later. You've only served 8 years of a 20-year sentence, which is not even half of that term. So based on insufficient time served, in my view, for the crime that occurred, my vote today is to deny your parole, and I want to encourage you, though, to stay on the path you're on, keep your faith,
Absolutely.
reapply when
Absolutely.
you're eligible to do so, and we'll see what happens then. But my vote today is to deny for those reasons. Ms. Stapleton.
I concur with, Nancy.
Mr. Byron.
And I vote to deny based on the serious and violent nature of the crimes against multiple victims, a strong law enforcement opposition, and a strong victim opposition.
All right, Mr. Milton, your parole is denied. Stay the course. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
We're going to adjourn. It's 11:05. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You have a good day.
So yeah, let's unpack this. And did I say before we didn't have information? I was wrong. I should have just checked the spreadsheet better. There are some pieces of information I'll share with you from the newspaper. Thank you, Sir Richard, for that. And look at this. Look at what these kids had to endure. 1 arrested, 2 arrested, 3 arrested, 4 arrested for doing this to these little kids. You just can't make this stuff up. And let's see, our prince over here. Wow. Really, just exactly what every little kid, child, boy needs. It's it's like when you watch the sting operations, whether it's Chris Hansen or someone else, and the guy goes on the Craigslist or whatever it is, and then he shows up to the house and he says, "Oh, I wouldn't have." No, but they are doing things. I mean, this just happened in 2015, and the acts actually happened. And it was like through the FBI and other that they were able to catch him because he was sending the pictures. They also, for creating CP, is what they were doing. He was sending pictures of it to other people. And, I'll go through the article. And they give 20 years, according to the arrest warrants. So, okay, where it is. A Mississippi man pled guilty to 2 counts of Mississippi was arrested October 2015, 2 counts of first degree SA and 2 counts of molestation of a juvenile. According to the arrest warrant for Milton, he met a suspect in a second investigation on Craigslist and traveled to Carter's residence to have sex with the juvenile. If you think this was the first time, the arrest warrant stated one of the juveniles told authorities about a man named Chuck who traveled to the area from Mississippi after making contact with Carter online. Milton's plea carried a sentence of 20 years at hard labor for each of the 2 counts, and requires him to register as a sex offender after his release from jail. The 2 sentences will run concurrently, because why run them consecutively? You know, it's not nice to do something like that. Additional charges against Milton were dismissed, because why not? Now, Carter's next scheduled court appearance will be February 2nd for hearing on charges 2 counts of this, which I guess were also dismissed. According to Carter's arrest affidavit, the suspect accused of sending molestation, acquiring blah, blah, blah. Initial arrests were made by the Ouachita Parish Sheriff's Special Victims Unit with assistance of the Mississippi Attorney General's Office, Cybercrime Unit, Texas Attorney General Office Cybercrime Unit, Louisiana Attorney General Office Cybercrime Unit, and the FBI Exploitation Task Force. So all of that money, all of that investment in resources, and they were able to lock them up. Good job. They did a good job. 20 years is a good sentence for these things. We see people get away with less. I say good, not I'm happy with it or content with it, but better than in many cases of what we've seen. He will be getting out in his full term date of 2035, so 9 years from today. And I'm sure when he gets out, he'll be completely okay, because he learned a lot in his years of being incarcerated in his programs. He learned that I don't want to hurt anyone again. It matters what people think. And it's funny, Richard wrote this down, and I wrote down the same notes. In a very, what did you learn? In a very, very negative way, my actions have a definitive reaction with everyone around me, whether it's good or bad. I need to make sure that I have good reactions. And with a response like that, he could probably run for president. And anyways, you can't make this stuff up. I have nothing else to say, I guess. Miss Stapleton with the, I guess the headline right there. What was it? A group of men among little boys. Those aren't men, though. Those are roaches. Those are monsters. Those are abominations. And with that, I'll let you go.
I know that my actions have a definite reaction on everybody around me, whether it's good or bad. I just have to make sure that my actions are good for the sake of everybody around me, good or bad. I just have to make sure that my actions are good. I know that my actions have a definite reaction on everybody around me, whether it's good or bad. I just have to make sure that my actions are good for the sake of everybody around me, good or bad. I just have to make sure that my actions are good